new stream. And yeah, we're late today. Sorry, we're late. I forgot to
Lap
click.
strikes again.
Yeah, I forgot to click the start button. So, oops. We are live on this beautiful. It's what is it? Is it April 17th?
It is April 17th. That's
Yep.
the date.
Is it April 17th?
Yes, April 17th. That's today.
Yep, today is April 17th. So we have a lot to talk about today. The main point of the stream will be talking about the a sort of tweet that came out a couple hours ago that is kind of going around Twitter like crazy because it's not good. It's not
We're
good.
not talking about the satellite footage of the Project 2025 camp. We're
Oh
not
my
talking
gosh.
about that.
That's so fake. Alright, now before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content, and if you have any questions, concerns, or whatever, send super chats, right? Best way to support the content, I'll read through as much chat as possible, but I'll read through as much chat as possible. I Am Moon has been a member for 15 months. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Man Milk has been a member for 21 months. Real talk, if Tampon Tim was a wholesome blue-collar Democrat, who was everything he was sold to us as, Kamala would have probably won. It's a strong aesthetic. No. It might have helped him, like, Wisconsin, but I highly doubt that it would have magically swung the race, like, 3 points everywhere. No. Maybe Wisconsin. Maybe. But I don't know. Alright, so what should we even start today? Because today's pretty significant day, a lot to talk about. Wait, what should we talk about the tweet that I wanted to talk about straight away?
I mean, we can real quickly, I guess, talk about the fact that China apparently reached out to Trump. Like, that's according to the White House. They
Yeah.
said a bunch of countries, including China, reached out. But we pretty much knew that was going to happen eventually. Like, no surprise, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
So we've already spoken with the Vietnamese. The Japanese delegation came yesterday. It was reported that even though it was preliminary talks, that Trump was actually in the room with the Japanese delegation, and that was a signal to Japan that he. It was a signal to Japan that he deeply cared about the trade deal turning out well. So, very good news all around from that. I'm hoping that his involvement means that things will proceed faster than we would anticipate.
Yeah, it's actually real, guys. He talked with the delegation. So here's a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yep, in the Oval Office, he met with the delegation. So yeah, I think we'll get a deal. I was hoping this week, but we're gonna get one probably next week. I'm guessing, surely.
Yeah, I mean, they've had offers on the table and they've been mulling them over. And it seems like there's just stuff going on behind the scenes. If China is now trying to talk to Trump, it might be giving the entire team pause on actually finishing talks with everyone else, because obviously a lot of their talks with every other country are premised upon, well, we don't want you we don't want you having Chinese goods dumped in your country and then brought to us. Or will you agree to, block out China? Well, if China's trying to do a deal with Trump in the middle of him talking to those people, it might complicate everything.
All right, K count for 2. President Xi, Donord, come back. You could blame it on me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but just like, yeah, I think China's realizing that they're kind of screwed. Well, the thing is, just like, there's a report that came out that I think they fired the top economic guy, I think, or something. Like, they were firing, like, their top people, which,
to be fair, China actually does, like, they fire a lot of people.
I know, but just kind of funny they do it right when it's happening with the
So
trade
one
war.
thing that you can't argue that they do efficient is when someone fucks up, they get fired.
That's true.
That
Well,
is
that's China. They just vanish.
Yeah.
That's China. They just vanish. Oh, this billionaire is mysteriously gone for 5 months. I wonder what happened to him. Happens every time.
We should start doing that. I'm kidding.
All right.
Or
But all right,
unless
so yeah,
I'm not.
the trade stuff we'll see. I think it's good progress. We're talking with Japan, South Korea, and now China, it sounds like. So we're making progress. But the main point of the stream, there's really 2 things. One is Easter, but we'll get to that later. The main part of the stream has to do with this tweet that, kind of, what's the word for? What's the word to describe it? Like, horrified me a little bit. So I want to clear one thing. This is a real tweet. This is from a real person that's a I think he was a PhD student at George Mason University. American Nerd for 2. Are they fired or are they purged? Both. Hold on. Bring breaking news, everybody. Breaking news. FSU is on lockdown. Really? Who are saying Florida State's locked down?
Is there was a call to harm or something?
Let's see here. An active shooter. Sounds like there's an active
That's a
shooter.
shame.
A student saying 30 rounds were fired. Yikes.
Yeah, there are some text messages being leaked out. We got evacuated. We're praying for you. I saw blood on the stairs. So something might have gone down at FSU, or we're seeing
Yikes.
stuff come out like as it's going.
Prayers
At least
for...
4 victims hospitalized amid active
jeez.
shooting.
Hoping no one dies. That's what we can pray for. But yeah, this is never good. This gotta stop. This shit's gotta stop. I mean, seriously, this is becoming too frequent. Just, I don't know. It's a mental illness crisis we got in this country, and no one's taking it seriously. So, but
Absolutely.
FSU is, I've never been to FSU, obviously, but this is horrible, man. This sucks. This happens way too much.
It looks like we might have footage. It's hard to really tell who they are, but we have footage of a possible suspect in custody. They were being arrested on the ground outside.
I'm not going to show the video for obvious reasons, because YouTube, but you can probably look it up on Twitter.
Well, the video, they're just outside. It looks like a foundational black woman. It's a foundational black woman with red hair. She's holding down this other person. It's actually really hard to tell like specific things about the person. It looks like they have long hair. Might be a dude, might be a chick.
I don't know.
I can't really tell.
Yeah, I'm not going to show the video because I don't want it to like get people like, confirm that, oh, this is what's going on. We don't know. But hard to find footage with 4chan down. Well, speaking of 4chan, that hack is still funny where it's like to figure out who posts most on 4chan. I guess it's Israel.
Well, that was I think that specific image was photoshopped just for like giggles.
I know, it's still kind of funny to see that.
It is really funny. And I know that they said that there were some accounts running Jannies that were using .edu and .gov accounts for their like admins on there.
I'm not surprised.
So we're not saying that it's Fed infested, but
it's Fed infested.
we're definitely implying it. I'm definitely implying.
There's guys. 4chan has so many feds. It's unbelievable. All those platforms got them. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah, and like unbelievable degenerates too. I saw one report, and you guys could probably look this up if you wanted to, but one of the like mod/admins on 4chan was also found to have admin controls of a specific website that was posting Guro hentai. So yeah, so not going to go into detail if you don't realize what those two words mean, but it's really, really disturbing. And like some of the most disturbing content you can post on the internet.
Yeah, let's just. Anyways, funny. American Nerd for 3. Deb's gonna blame Trump for this, aren't they? Well, they're not actually gonna blame them. There is okay. Let's get to the tweet that I want to talk about, because this kind of. I think this might have. I don't know. This might have been the point of no return at this point. So for those that don't know, there's this alleged student of George Mason University, and he posted this article. He said, "When must we kill them?" And you could probably guess who he's implying. He is implying the current administration and people that support him. He said, "The ultimate source of political power is and always will be violence. If the present administration should continue on its course, there's no choice but war. I say this out of sorrow. When must we kill them?" This is a real. This is a real, by the way. This is a real thing. Dad Republic, you got the screenshot. This is a real tweet, and it's gained ratio to hell. Thank God. But this is bad. Are we at the point now where we're gonna start seeing actual like people pushing for violence, not just random people on Twitter, but like actual people saying, no, we must start having people getting killed? Are we getting to that point now? Because
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's just bad. You know, things keep getting worse and worse, and it's really funny because even this guy, it's not just like dumb people saying this. This guy is giving some sort of veil of intelligence. Like his like Substack is titled with Homo economicus, which is a term from neoclassical theory. It's like about like the perfect rational man pursuing self-interest. It's like a pro-capitalist like concept. But like the whole thing here, I'm not saying he's a capitalist, by the way. But at the end of the day, he's just like this guy. Also has the person that posted it. I don't gay flag, globe flag, Ukraine flag.
Usual
Yeah,
suspects.
these people's religion is just getting deeply out of hand, and if you like, it's just gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, and I don't know what to tell you guys except to, you know,
Stay frosty.
work out. No, well, stay frosty, work out, be ready to protect yourself and the people that you care about. And yeah, like even if you don't want to own a gun, I would start going and trying to look at firearm training so you know how to shoot one.
Yeah.
Um, you know, like I would recommend owning at least one gun in your home, but you know, at the very least, just learn how to shoot so that if something happens, you're not helpless. You know.
I mean, I don't like
Um,
talking like that, but at this point, I mean, these people have lost it. These people have. It's apparently it's over U.S. aid. Like apparently they're mad that he cut U.S. aid, so now they're saying we gotta firebomb Teslas. And
well, I mean, that's why we have to talk this way. It's because it's no longer like whenever they were talking and hyperventilating about us, it was always like imaginary concerns, fake speculation. Like remember when they said like we were like doing a genocide on transgenders,
yeah,
and like it was basically like you hurt their feelings and then caused them to hurt themselves. Therefore, you're genociding trans people. That's not what's going happening here. In our situation, we're looking at people actively firebombing GOP headquarters. They're bombing Teslas. They went and the guy that, by the way, that burned down Governor Shapiro's house was someone who wanted to end the genocide in Palestine.
yeah.
It's like a pro-Palestinian guy. I don't know specifics on if he was right or left wing, but
He's
it
left
doesn't
wing.
really matter to me at this point. Does not matter to me at this point. These people are anti-civilization and they will come for you if they feel like they have to. That's all I'm saying. So if you're gonna, I believe you should state your beliefs and you should state your beliefs proudly, but I think you should also be prepared to defend yourself.
Yeah, again, like,
That's all
again, you may
I'm
disagree with
saying.
me. I don't care. Violence is like these people. They actually believe that there is a grand conspiracy by Trump to become a fascist dictator to kill all the people that they care for, so they gotta kill them first. They believe this crap, and you know who you blame for
No.
that? The Democrat Party and the establishment media. That's who you blame. That's who you blame. And at this point, we gotta start having serious conversations about declaring the Democrat Party a terrorist organization. I said it there. I'm sorry, guys. They're literally going on like MSNBC and CNN repeatedly say Trump's a threat to our democracy. He's a fascist. We must rise up. I mean, just years ago they were saying he's an agent of Putin and we gotta rise up. They don't condemn violence. They support it. You have sitting members of Congress saying someone's gotta do something about Musk. It's like, at this point, declare them a terrorist organization. I said it. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if we lived in a rational place, maybe they would be. But and again, why are we saying this? It's because they're not just threatening violence. It's not like they're joking about violence online. So they're going out committing violence and they're hurting people.
Yeah.
And they not only feel justified, they praise and worship the people that have been committed violence. Within the Carmelo case, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with that. Not only have they bought not yeah, they're selling T-shirts. Like they're literally monetizing his murder of a young boy while having now they're now renting a $900,000 mansion in a gated community, and they just bought a Cadillac Escalade, with the money they raised from his murder.
Yeah.
Like him murdering someone. And I'm just saying that like those are the same radical components that we're seeing here. What like so violence was committed. They give the person who committed the violence $500,000, and then they continue to support the violence financially, on social media, everywhere else. Like uh, this is everything that they pretended we were,
Yeah.
and more.
It was always
It's bad.
projection. And I want to be clear about this because some people take this the wrong way. I'm not saying everyone that's on the left is like this. I'm not. I'm not saying every Democrat congressman's like this. I know people in Congress like Ro Khanna. He's a good guy. Like we disagree, but he's not like this where he's insane. But the point is, the vast majority of them are batshit crazy. I mean, they're openly admitting we got to kill Trump. You guys see that poll a couple weeks ago? It's like 55% say we got to stop Orange Man and kill him. That's what they said. And a bunch of Democrats, you know how they're responding to this tweet that he made? You know this tweet that we're talking about? You know how they responded?
How
They
they
didn't
respond?
condemn it. They said, oh, we can't do that yet. That's what they're saying. They're saying Trump has not gone far enough. And not that violence is bad. They're saying we'll do it eventually, but he has to do more. So it's not just like a small sect. These people actually believe they got to uprise, stop the Orange Man. American Nerd for 2, we are witnessing the new anarchist movement. It's scarier because the anarchist movement was like 10 people in the basement. That's what it was. It was 10 people that were mentally ill in the basement. Now it's like a third of the country. It's a third of the country doing this.
Oh yeah, I mean, a term that gets thrown around a lot is anarcho-tyranny,
Yeah.
and this is kind of like the embodiment of it. Like basically like anarchy that is enforced by public figures, mayors of Democrat towns, and presidents when they have them. So yeah, basically anarcho-tyranny.
All right,
Um,
American Nerd for 3. Patel needs to bring back the Hoover FBI tactics. You know, it might be time. Listen, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but at this point, you gotta get nuts with like these people are. You gotta stop it. And again, Cash Patel's done a great job. He's gone after the MS-13 and stuff, but this is, I think, a bigger concern now because we dealt with most of the illegal, like the violent ones. They're mostly gone now. But now it's like we have a third of our population that literally wants to kill the rest of them. So, not good. Cherokee Bear for 4. Even Joe Walsh on the kill the Trump bandwagon. Wait, what? Did Joe Walsh actually say that? Hold up. Joe Walsh. Trump.
Joe Walsh openly called for the Second Amendment to be used against President Trump.
Oh
The third
my
example of the dangerous
gosh.
rhetoric.
He actually said it. These they've lost it. These people completely fucking lost it. They actually said we got to use the Second Amendment to stop the Orange Man. Can we declare what's the one law that we got? The what's the one law that President Trump can enact? The Insurrection Act. Enact it right now. You have to. Enact the Insurrection Act right now. Because this is crazy. The tyrant that is Donald Trump and the tyrannical behavior he's engaged in now is exactly why our founders insist upon the Second Amendment. You know, and by the way, they're doing this over illegal aliens, which, listen, go look that one. Go look at the Garcia case. It's getting bad. I can't even say half the stuff on stream. It's that bad. It's just, this is insane. This is nuts. Anarchy for 5. If they manage to do that, they'll turn Trump to Lincoln 2.0, total backfire. Well, they don't care. They're insane. American Nerd for 5. Not the anarchist movement of the 60s and 70s. I'm referring to the one from the 1800s, the one that caused the death of McKinley. Yeah, even that was like nobody. It was like a few schizophrenics that did that. Alright, Charlie Howard for 5. This is what happens when mental illness is normalized. The inmates are allowed to run the asylum for too long. Yeah? These people run the Democrat Party now. An updated chat. My 2 friends are safe at FSU. Oh, good. That's good. Thank God. All right.
The main thing I wanted to say about this was the people running it in the party. they don't actually think they'll get into that Lincoln 2.0 situation. They just think that they can continue rallying for these things. And as long as the sentiment that he should be offed is like present in the public sphere, they will win whatever next election that they want to win. But they don't actually want or think that their people will do it. It's just that they have supporters that are so deranged, so indoctrinated, so bad off and stupid that they might actually do that. It would be a terrible day for all of us. But I mean, we're one day. I've been anticipating that happening pretty much ever since July 13th. I really, it's really hard. I mean, we obviously have to just pray for the president and pray that he's preserved by God as he was on that day a year ago. But at the end of the day, if it happens, who are we going to point fingers at when that happens? And at it has to be at this widespread behavior that's being accepted and endorsed by the mainstream.
I really thought when Trump got shot, this was the end of it. That things would like normalize, that people would realize, oh, we're going too far.
Nope.
They tripled down. They tripled down the same bullshit. I mean, now it's assassination culture. That's a real thing. That's a new term.
Yeah. It's a real thing, and I 100% am anticipating a summer of love.
Yeah.
Not because I want it, not because I want it for people, but because they're just acting like they're going to do it. It looks like there's going to be money for them to
declare
do it. So
the Insurrection Act right now. Start arresting Democrats. I'm sorry, you have to. I'm sorry, like I don't like to talk like that. I don't like arresting people in politics, but you have to at this point. They're literally pushing for it. They're slowly upping up the rhetoric. They've been doing this for decades. But now it's getting mainstream where it's not just random people. Now people are saying, we have the Second Amendment for a reason. We got to off Trump. Enact the Insurrection Act right now. The majority of people will support you. Because people are saying this is batshit crazy. Alright. $1 for 5. Joe Walsh won the many bad Republicans of the Tea Party wave. Yeah. He ran as a Tea Party Republican, which should tell you everything about that movement. It was a scam. Alright, so honestly, what can we do though? Outside of, throwing people in jail, which I don't like talking like that, but I think that's the only option we got. Throw these people in jail and insane asylums. Is there anything else we can do? Just honestly, can anyone name anything? Anyone in chat? John, got anything?
Well, again, I hate to speak so Machiavellian and tactical, but we just really have to be as normal. We have to present ourselves as normal. We have to appear as normal. Maybe many of you are normal. But if you're not normal, I'm telling you right now, it probably will benefit you more to just act normal. And what I mean by that is don't openly advocate violence. Don't openly, provoke hostilities with people. We want this to be as one-sided as physically possible.
Yeah.
We want the general public and the half of the Democrats who don't think that violence is okay. We want all of them to see that we're just normal freaking people. We're not trying to hurt people. We do want things run a certain way, but that has nothing to do with excluding people from society. Again, I said this after about a month after the election. I was just telling people you need to embrace the normie grift.
Yeah.
And I think it's not only important tactically for our party to secure wins in the midterms and in the general election next time, but it's just important for your personal safety to pretend to be normal if you're not normal. Like, again, if you meet these people in real life and they have any, like, even remote mild provocation that they interpret from you, you may not want to fight, you may not want any sort of conflict, but you just say something that implies that you want to hurt them, and then they'll take that as a license to do what Carmelo did to the white kid.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying censor your beliefs. I'm not saying anything like that. Proudly state everything that you believe, but don't incite violence while you say it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
My opinion for everybody is this: talk to the same Democrats that you know. All right, just tell them this is what they want. Like you may listen. I'm not a big fan of the Republican Party. I'm not. I think the Republican Party is stupid. I think they're dumbasses. But fundamentally, what's worse? Disagreeing with somebody on like 90% of things, or advocating for violence and to kill half the country? What's worse? Just objectively. What's worse for everybody? Violence, of course. So I'm trying to tell people, if you know a Democrat that still votes Democrat, that's not batshit crazy, show them the stuff. Show them what they're pushing for. And tell them, you cannot vote Democrat anymore. Because then you're supporting the violence. And you know, they're never going to stop at the MAGA Republicans. You know what's going to happen? Then, if the Republicans get wiped out, what do you think's going to happen? They're going to go after the same Democrats. And there'll be nobody left. So...
Look, there is a point at which this collapses, right?
Yeah.
If we continue being normal and we show everyone that we have no intention of destroying people, removing citizens, doing anything like that, if we just continue being normal, the Democrats will destroy themselves. And that doesn't mean there won't be multiple parties in this country. It means that there'll have to be a new party rebuilt. And I think that that's the healthiest thing that could happen right now, is the Democrats losing miserably, them either being forced to completely change everything about themselves, or for them to die out in their entirety and be replaced. That's really like the best case scenario, is for there to be a new opposition party that's not the Democrats. I know Republicans, we're in control, so they're technically the opposition party. They're having a new opposition party for Republicans is actually the healthiest thing that could happen for the system right now.
All right. Cherokee Bear for 2, MAG over the Tea Party. Oh, easily. The Tea Party was a scam. It was a good idea, but then it was taken over by grifters. So, Eric for 5. We reach a point of no return in 2020 when Democrats justified the riots. The fact that was the permanent end of the Democrats is appalling. Well, because they used the George Floyd stuff as proof. And they used like people's sympathy of like, oh, you know, this guy, we didn't know what we knew now. But they use the sympathy of people. It's like, oh, this guy, it looks worse than it was. Well, like, when you factor in the context, it sucks he died, but yeah. Anyways, K-Cup for... Oh, go on.
What I was going to say about that, they're going to try it again. They're going to try to use either Carmelo or some other person, and they're going to try to stoke riots. But I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't think it's going to work this time. I think that we were in a uniquely horrific scenario in 2020 with the lockdowns and with everything else. And it was just, perfect right time for people to go literally insane. Now we're 4 years later, 5 years later, and there is no such excuse, and there's not even a George Floyd figure. So it's really going to be a counterfeit morality that people see. I really don't think it's going to work out for them this time. We have to push back against it.
All right. K-Cub for 5. The problem is they believe problems go away if Orange Man is gone. He is saying in their Church of rights. Never forget they try to tell us he did get shot. I remember that. In fact, I remember they were saying he never got shot, and now they're saying it's a good thing he got shot. That's who these people are. Like, they're so like, it's doublethink. Or what's the word for it? Is it doublethink or doublespeak? What is it from 1984?
Well, right, doublethink or whatever you would call it, but this is, I think we call this the phenomenon Blue Anon. And it's Blue Anon is like a riff off of QAnon. We had a bunch of silly boomers that said a bunch of stuff, 2020 going onward. But Blue Anon is very distinct from QAnon in that these people have like it's way worse, it's way more violent, and they have zero justification for anything they believe. These are the people that were trying to convince us that, Trump didn't get shot. And then they're also right now trying to convince us that the Maryland man is beautiful and that we have to engage in violence to rescue him from El Salvador.
Why did Democrats die on the Hill? That was the stupidest thing they could have done.
Well, we've been learning more and more. Yesterday, Pam Bondi released documents on him. I read through the documents. He was stopped at a Home Depot with 3 other gang members, verified gang members. They were holding drugs. They were literally holding drugs. And they had marijuana. They had bottles with other drugs in them. They were, basically trading or trafficking drugs. And they caught him with, I think, like 3 separate, like the hat, his shirt, and the tattoos. He had gang symbols on all of these items that he was wearing to indicate that he was not only a member of the gang, but that he was in good relation. They identified his rank within the gang. And then we learned, anybody hear about the 2021 case? His wife,
Yeah.
quote unquote wife, asked for legal protection against him because he's a wife beater.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, like, we're getting more stuff, and just people go, I can't say half the stuff I've seen. It's not good. But just go read what they're releasing, and they're releasing more and more. It's like, this guy should have gone years ago.
There was one new one I saw this morning, although I'm looking for the tweet and I don't see it, but I
I
think
saw
one
part of it.
person was alleging that he was caught with 7 people in his car.
Yeah, he was human trafficking. I saw that.
And they believed it was human trafficking. So human trafficking, drug dealing, gangbanger, Maryland father of 3.
But again, like, maybe it's all fake, but I real Texan. But right now, I'm kind of convinced that listen, we'll see more, but just go, guys, read through the documents and come to your own conclusions. I've come to mine, and yeah. American Nerd for 5. These people kind of remind me of the Jacobins of the French Revolution who incited the Reign of Terror, although they might be maybe even worse. Yeah, that's a perfect comparison, actually. These are just the Jacobins, but even more insane.
The Maryland man ain't so Maryland man anymore.
We talked a little about that, but yeah, like that's a good comparison. The left now is just Jacobins from the French Revolution, even worse. Like, they make them look sane. I don't know how that's even possible, but that's what happened. All right, Satan Slayer for 5. The Trump administration played this perfectly. The Democrats have made him out to be a saint, yet in reality, he's a monster. If I'm the Republican Party, I put this on the airwaves 24/7. 24/7 on the airwaves.
Yeah, like every single conversation with a Democrat you see in real life, they bring up this Maryland father. You'd be like, you mean the drug dealing, gang banging, human trafficking wife beater?
Yeah.
No, the innocent Maryland man that was deported under the fascist Trump Musk regime.
That's real. All right. It's not just the Democrats, it's the media or institutions. They've all been hijacked in the 60s. Oh, yeah, I agree. It's not just the Democrat Party, it's the media, which I'm hoping Trump breaks it up. I hope Trump just says, nope, you guys are gone. You lose your license.
I mean, we're working on dismantling the institutions, or at least defunding them. You guys seen the news with Harvard recently?
Harvard's
we're considering cutting all of their funding
and exemptions,
and
their tax exemptions might be gone.
The IRS is already starting to go after them.
All right. On a similar note, Vance is doing a great job of deconstructing Democrat nonsense. Yeah, he's been perfect on this. He has been the best messenger of the Trump administration. Well, actually, Spacent's up there too, but I think Vance #1.
Vance has been doing a wonderful job, and he is, in all likelihood, part of why the youth numbers are skyrocketing right now.
Yeah, and now it's Rasmussen. They did a poll, and I think they proved it's not just men. It's young women now. They're moving right. Which I said was going to happen because at some point, it's like a lot of these young women, they're getting screwed also. They don't care. Like, guys, the myth has always been Gen Z women care about abortion. No. Some do. I'm not denying that. But you know the generation that cares most about abortion? Take a freaking guess.
It's the women that aren't giving birth anymore.
Yeah, it's boomers. It's boomer women. They're the most likely to say abortion's the #1 issue. Which is just... that's the Democrat Party, everybody. All right. And they still wonder why Kamala lost. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Old white people. Yeah, it's literally a bunch of old white people that care about abortion the most. And yeah, for those that are wondering, we talked about this yesterday. I made a video on this. Yeah, it's the 18 to 21 is R+12 now, and this is a generic ballot. And remember, Republicans they tend to do like 10 points worse compared to Trump with young people. So, what's Trump's numbers like? It's like,
let's see, Trump approval among men 18 to 29 is net 16% positive.
Yeah, I gotta find that.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
It was Rasmussen that I was reposting.
Found it.
Oh.
And you can tell, and even again, Gen Z women, they're still like not favorable, but they're getting up there.
Well, if you look at like 18 to 29, it's actually the weakest demographic for women. Like,
yeah,
women in general are -8. People that are closer to millennial age, it looks like in this particular poll, were giving Trump approval. But like, if you look at the rest of them, like the people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, in the double digits of net disapproval of Trump's -17, 13, 13.
This bodes super well because I guarantee you the ones that disapprove of Trump, let's be honest here, none of them have kids. Let's be honest here. The ones that like hate Trump and they're older, they don't have kids. Sorry, I said it. Or a majority of them don't. But yeah, just like, look at the freaking strongly disapprove. His weakest is, of course, 65 and plus. Ay, fun. It's always the boomers. Always the boomers. General Hydra for 2, you tell me that Gen Z is going to the right? Yes, it was first Gen Z men, and now it's Gen Z women. They're saying enough's enough. Because like
the youngest block of Gen Z men, to be specific.
Yeah, it's like R plus freaking. Who freaking knows this point? But
I remember before the election, I think we were kind of calling the polls bullshit. They had Trump down with boomers, and
well, no, I was arguing that I was arguing that even if they like, no, I thought it was real. I thought they were actually understating Trump a little bit. I just thought that they were understating Trump with well, no, I was arguing that even if they were understating Trump with old people and they overstated with young people, Trump would still win. So, but yeah, now it's like, look at this. This is incredible. This is actually like really, really, really good for Trump. Because guess what? Those old people are dying. There I said.
Yeah. The main thing, like Texan, that I think we processed through the 2024 election, I was surprised by the age demographics at the 2024 election. And yeah, no, when we were making predictions and we were reading data, I wasn't making it based off of what the 2024 election data actually told us. I thought the boomers would be more red. I thought Gen X would be bluer. And as it turns out, everybody has aged up so much since 2016 that we're now at the point where the boomers are the hippies. The oldest boomers are still voting for Trump, but they're just a much smaller portion of the total boomer population. Gen X is comfortably redder than I've ever seen it.
Those are probably the Gen X is probably your average MAGA boomer.
Yeah, that's the MAGA base.
And then the actual boomers are like your resist libs.
Yeah.
Well, it's really funny, but like in about 12 years, like the average Gen Xer that was born at the start of the 70s, that person is going to be 65 years old. And so by that point, by the time we get to the 2036 elections, 11 years from now, all of Gen X, they will be like distinctly boomers, and we're just halfway to that transition. That's kind of what we're looking at right now with the millennials. And so a point about the demographic split, very fascinating to me that Gen X and Gen Z are redder together than the millennials and boomers. And I think what it tells me is that the Gen X and the Gen Zers are the actual stable families, the people that didn't grow up in divorced families, the people that have like some semblance of what life used to be prior to the Cultural Revolution. I'm starting to think the fact that those boomers, those hippies, never had children is really starting to hurt them. I really think it is. I think it's starting to hurt them pretty badly.
And this is something that Democrats do not want to talk about. And I've been like kind of hinting at this for years. In the last since when was Roe versus Wade established? Was it 1970?
73.
73. In the last 50 years, let's be honest here, what % of Democrats have had kids? Liberal women. Compared to like conservative women.
I don't want to say very few, but definitely a smaller percentage than before.
Yeah, and like it takes time, obviously, because you have kids, and they have kids and all that stuff. And now I think we're starting to see it. Now we're starting to see. Oh wait, the Democrats, they're having a demographic crisis. And the funny thing is, the young vote is the most diverse group. The young, like the Gen Z vote, is the most diverse voting bloc, and they're swinging the most Republican. Yeah, I think Democrats might have screwed themselves over. All right. Yoshi fan Nick for 5. It doesn't matter what state you are in. We need strong recruits for governor, senator to help with down ballot races. I agree. 100% agree. Dems ran up with young voters in 2018. Well, that was kind of a miss. The blue wave in 2018, it was kind of a bizarre election when you look more into it. But anyways, most older people regret not having kids. They say they don't, but you could tell by their attitude and comments they're scared of dying alone. Yeah. American Nerd for 5. Rap, I have a hard time believing that Gen Z women are moving to the right, as they most likely believe in the BS feminist ideology that hates men. That's actually a myth. The majority don't give a shit. There I said it. The majority don't give a shit about that stuff. Just go talk to one. So, that's what I say.
I think the problem is that like the older Gen Z women, they were very much adhering to it. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
because I went to school with them.
Yeah, older
And
Gen
then
Z, I
like
should say, yeah.
the younger Gen Z women,
No.
I think that they're just like having less sex in general, and that might be part of the like. I'm gonna be honest, like the way that the men's situation is causing the women to change. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think the women are delayed.
It's partially because I think a bunch of women are realizing like men are scared because like if they make one wrong move, it's sexual assault then, and that's what
Yeah.
part of it. But also I think a part of it is the is the fact that a bunch of women, it's like now they're kind of expected to be like on OnlyFans. I mean, you guys see that study? It's like a bunch of like how many women are on OnlyFans now? Like it's kind of expected or something like that. It's like do
It's
women
like,
really want to be be expected to be on a site like that? Like that's their
I think it's
expectations.
only like I still thought it was only like 2 or 3% of women.
Yeah, but it's like
Let me double check.
that's kind of like the common thing. Though. It's like people think that's what old women do now, and it's not, obviously, but it's a scary amount. Either
Well,
way.
I would tap more into your first comment, which is just like the idea that the women look at the men are petrified of like even socializing with them at all, and like there's like this kind of like a soft segregation, sex segregation of society, just because it's the safest thing for a male to do to survive socially speaking.
Yeah.
And the women are like, well, I don't want that actually. I want men in my life, and I want to have a cute boyfriend, and I want to do XYZ. And you know, they're willing. It's really funny. I think the younger Gen Z women are willing to cut men a break. They're willing to be like, yeah, you are being screwed over, kind of, aren't you? It's like this. I've actually met them. There's a lot of younger Gen Z women that are just like, oh, you guys really are being screwed over, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's like the way that they
and
behave.
Check out the tweet I just sent.
What?
This one's about black voters in particular. Sorry, there's kids here.
Yep, I saw
Wow.
that. I saw this. And this is this is only black moderate voters, so it's gonna be a little bit misleading, but look at that. A nearly 50-point shift. And remember, the same thing happened with Hispanics. It started the more like conservative and moderate ones, and the rest just swung heavy to the right in 24. The same thing happened with black voters. So this makes sense because, guys, why were black voters so Democrat for decades? Why? Anyone know why?
Welfare.
Well, that's not the number one thing. That's up there. There's one thing especially. Why were black voters so Democrat for years?
Because LBJ said he had them,
Well, no,
voting.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like
I'm kidding, but you know.
I think people can get the hint. What's the one thing that LBJ signed? Not the
Civil Rights Act.
Civil Rights Act. Bingo. Bingo. And a lot of these old voters, they're forever thankful for that. Which in reality, anyways. But guys, it's because of the Civil Rights Act. Now young black voters, they don't they're not really attached to it as much. Old ones, yeah, because it's like, oh, the Civil Rights Act that saved us. But now young ones, they don't care. It's like, oh, it happened 50 years ago. So what?
Now, I would still argue a lot of older black voters are probably single issue welfare voters.
Oh, I'm not denying. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think now it's still number one is the Civil Rights Act. So
yeah, civil rights, voting rights, that's our stuff. Yeah,
and again, they're dying out. Again, I don't like talking like that, but just a fact, they're all dying.
And LBJ said he'd had them voting Democrat for the next 200 years.
Yeah, that whole quote is. Don't look it up.
I don't. It's probably not even real, but
I've heard like some people think it's real, some people think it's fake, but
I mean, PragerU and like TPUSA were promoting that shit for like years.
I remember that.
Sorry, there's kids here. There's an elementary field trip. I think they're doing like a scavenger hunt around the campus or something.
All right, Yoshi fan Nick for 5. I'm planning to go into a fundraiser for someone running for state delegate in 26 next Saturday in Maryland. Good. Support your local candidates. That's a good thing. Even in Maryland, I mean, like try to win some state seats. Because, you know, maybe down the line we could maybe flip a governor's race and then get a majority somehow, which it's not likely, but still. LBJ was one of the worst presidents. Oh, yeah, LBJ's like bottom 5. Probably the third worst, I'm guessing, for me. Because it's like, it's a shit fest between him, Wilson, and, who's the president before Lincoln again?
Buchanan.
Buchanan, yeah, that's right. That's like
which coincidentally the only president without a wife, so
yeah, that explains a lot.
and also, and many argue he might have been gay, but that's
every time they say that they're full of shit.
Just letting you guys know, with the active shooting situation in FSU, there is fake news going around. They're posting a picture of a white dude with an assault rifle. It is actually from a different incident.
Oh, the main shooting. I remember that.
So they're using the main shooter's visage and trying to say it's the FSU shooter.
To blame it on white people.
This is freaking nuts.
Yeah, they're currently handling the situation. There's also other news coming around. People claiming that there's a lot of injuries. But I don't want to like say it because nobody's providing a source to their numbers.
Yeah,
so there's
no source.
A lot of fake news going around.
I saw local news in Dallas say at least 4 were injured, or at least 4 hospitalized, but I don't know.
All right, so that's the number I'm seeing over and over again: 4 injured, hospitalized. But then there's like some person that's like, oh, there's 3 dead and 50 injured, and I'm like, what?
That's probably. I mean, some of that's probably just like fear mongering or just some witness. It's probably greatly exaggerating.
All right, K-Cup for 2. Obama's technically gay. Just ask Big Mike. Oh my gosh, I did hear the rumor they're getting divorced, but I don't know how real that is.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, if Brock wanted to run for a 3rd term, they'd probably get divorced.
Oh yeah.
Because I know, because contrary to what a lot of the MAGA Inc. influencers want to believe, Michelle Obama has no interest in going back to Washington.
Yeah, she hates politics, she hates people. So that's the truth about Michelle Obama. So,
but well, yeah, I think the whole thing with the Obama situation, I don't think they will get divorced officially. Not at least for a while. I think right now I think they're going to be separated, and I think they're beginning to behave as if they are separated. Michelle Obama may in fact be seeing someone. I don't have any evidence for that. I'm just like giving my speculation.
I mean, there were rumors that Brock was having an affair with like Jennifer Aniston or something. So
yeah, that's what chat's saying.
If there is something going on, I anticipate you seeing either Obama or Michelle with someone else, with a separate partner, before you see them admit that they are like actually separated or going through a divorce. So
that kind of reminds me of Don Jr. seen with like some other woman after he split up from Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Right.
But I don't think he ever released a statement on that, though.
American Nerd for 5. James Buchanan might hurt America in the short term, but Andrew Johnson, Wilson, and LBJ, maybe FDR2, did far more long-term damage to this nation. Yeah, I guess you're right, but still, they're pretty bad. Chris Creative for 5. As a black man, my brother has said the mainstream media and news media are trying to start a race war. Not sure how we conservative blacks could fix things. Well, it's true. They want a race war. I mean, like, they want a race war now. You notice that they're always talking about racism now. Every day it's racism, racism, racism. Every single day.
Democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, really, the the only thing that you can do as a conservative black is to, when you see the violence, you condemn the violence. Whatever it is, you condemn it. You condemn it loudly, openly. You tell people at your work or whatever, I don't approve of this violence. You don't let the disease spread. And like, that's the best thing that you could possibly do. Will you convince everyone? No, you won't. But, at the very least, if you let people know, especially like of your own ethnicity, hey, it's okay to be sane. It's like it's okay to be normal. Like you don't have to approve of horrible things happening. And like I think that's just the thing. It's like you fight culture by showing that you belong to a different culture than that. And I think that's the best thing you can do is openly and proudly represent a same common sense culture. I think that's the best thing you can do, Chris.
All right.
So moving on from that to in relation to that, so there was a press conference in I'm guessing it was Dallas for it was Carmelo Anthony's family giving a press conference,
Oh gosh.
and Austin Metcalf's father was there, and I believe he got removed and from Dallas by Dallas PD, and the presser for Carmelo says it is disrespectful for Austin's father to be coming there.
They're gonna get off scot-free. He's good.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Oh my gosh. The guy.
Disrespectful?
John had
Yeah,
the rants. Go ahead.
because Austin's a racist. Oh boy, yeah. Go ahead, Rance. Yeah.
Yep, John,
I'm
you
listening.
No, I'm just saying, like, okay, last Saturday, we buried a little white boy. We buried him in the ground. And nobody gave pretty much any of a shit, not nearly as much of a shit, as to the guy that stabbed him in the heart. Stabbed him in the heart for sitting in his seat in a place he wasn't supposed to be, holding a knife he wasn't supposed to have. And it's not appropriate for his father to show up at the press conference of the people selling merchandise over the corpse of his young boy? You say that's inappropriate?
Mind you, this is the same father that said, "Oh yeah, we shouldn't be putting race into this or whatever."
Dude, this is why you never
Shouldn't be
bend
putting
these
race
people.
into this, but give me $500,000, get me a mansion, get me a Cadillac, I'm going to sell t-shirts, you're going to buy it. I am going to monetize your little white boy's death. And for some reason, having any sort of mild objection to that is inappropriate. Go fuck yourself.
This is our society we live in, everybody.
Thank you for that. All right, I got class. I gotta go.
All right, see ya, real Texan. Yeah, this is our society. I mean, like, we're at a point now where the bad person is not who stabbed him. It's the father of the son that got stabbed. That's the bad person. Like I've been saying, guys, he's off scot-free. I've accepted it. This is, at least with OJ, that was because the prosecution fucked up. The prosecution fucked up when it was incompetent. This is just, he's innocent because we said so. Wow. Just fucking wow. All right, Dillybot for 20. Love the work you do. Hopefully the craziness is the end of the Republican and Democrat parties. I hope so too, but Chance Rancic for 5. It's not official yet, but I have on a good authority that Chuck Gray's running for governor of Wyoming. I've met him a few times. He's very based. K-Cup for 5. So Trump does run for a third term, and Obama is an opponent. Who wins it by how much? I'm assuming everything is fair and legal. I think Trump wins. The Obama image is dead. The Obama image is just dead.
Yeah, Obama image is dead. I don't think Trump's running for a third term. I'm going to continue saying I think it's a troll. Yeah. I think it's actually a brilliant troll. And it serves multiple purposes, by the way. Number one, it deeply confuses the people running op research if they're supposed to try and prepare for yet another Trump run, or if they're supposed to prepare for someone else. It obscures our front runner. That's the main thing that I'm saying. It obscures the front runner, which is obviously Vance. And so it keeps them a little bit distracted from Vance, not fully distracted, but a little bit. And also it just does severe psychological damage to these people, which is another reason to just keep doing it. Just severe psychological damage to the concept of having to deal with Trump again. It's actually just really enjoyable for these people that are acting the way that we're seeing today. There's a couple of other reasons, but it really is. I think it's a tactical move. That's going to be my take on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's real. Man Milk for 2, institutional white supremacy and shit dog. Oh gosh, but yeah, I got the video right here. I'm not gonna play it because I would fucking throw my screen out the window. This pisses me off. He's saying it's disrespectful him coming here. This is fucking nuts. It's every time it's these people. Guys, listen. These people are starting a race war. We're at a point now where I don't know how you recover from this. As a country and a society, how do you come back from this? How?
Things have to collapse, and I'm not saying that people have to be harmed during that, but institutions have to collapse, parties have to collapse. All of this the house of cards has to fall down one way or another. And looking at this right now, this is just the absolute worst direction you could take race relations ever. And I mean, I'm being told that Carmelo's family is affluent, and that this is part of why they were able to use their $500,000 they raised to rent a new house in a gated community and do all these other things and get a Cadillac Escalade and all this other stuff, which makes, I think, the monetization of his visage even more insidious. But yeah, no, this is just absolutely ridiculous. You have this young boy's father trying to just have his say, just to have his word, to talk to these people. How is the dead kid's father being disrespectful to the people walking over on top of his corpse, making dough while walking on top of his corpse? What is going on there?
Right now, MLK's rolling his grave. Right now, MLK's currently rolling his grave. Like, how does anyone think this is his message he was pushing? Now, again, I'm not. Listen, everyone knows that MLK has he did things that, but guys, MLK had a message of equality. This is not equality. This is, what do you like? There's no words to describe this. I don't know. It just, this whole thing's just fucking batshit crazy. Minari for 2. Dems need racism. DNC loses ill purpose otherwise. Yeah. K-Cup for 2. Thanks for the rant, John. You just vented for all. Yeah.
No, I mean, I know I'm stating the obvious, but it has to be stated because we are living. I mean, we used to call this clown world, but it's getting so much more deeply insidious than it ever has been. I don't think that 10 years ago, I couldn't have seen this happening. And you talk about MLK, and there's a lot about MLK that's not said. He was a lot more Marxist in disposition than you would say. He didn't agree with Marx on everything, but he was a lot more Marxist in disposition. And so I don't necessarily agree that he was about equality. He was more about equity than equality. But at the end of the day, I do kind of agree with you, though. I think if he was looking at this situation and he saw this happening, he saw like an affluent black family like making dough off the corpse of a white boy, I think MLK probably would have finally been up. Like, even with someone as radical as him, he probably would have stood up and been like, "That's fucked up, dude."
Yeah.
Like, I can't see him having a different reaction. And of course, I'm not gonna get in a rant about who MLK really was, but
yeah, look that one
we
up.
we probably are at the point where the people of the 60s, the radicals of the 60s, would look in disgust at what's going on right now.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, like, again, American Nerd for 2, did MLK get more radical before he died? Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
He was getting more radical each year, but
that's why the feds were looking at him, because he was actually radical. People were like, "Oh, how dare the feds look after MLK?" And then you go and read what MLK was writing at the time. You're like, "Oh my gosh."
And yeah,
no, they were worried he was going to do something.
Yeah, which I don't know if that was gonna really anything was gonna happen, but still, it's now. Did he deserve to die? No, obviously not.
No,
but well, I mean, like, point is when just MLK's whole thing is like, it's so crazy. Everyone thinks he's a preacher, but then you look at what he says about religion. It's like, I don't know if that's really a preacher or a pastor.
And then you look at his domestic relationship, and then you look at his party, his activities at gatherings, quote unquote. He just like he was involved in a lot of sexual depravity, a lot of physical violence. He wasn't the person that he is portrayed as in media, and I think it's time that we just be open about that. But yeah, no, I think it's still poignant to point out MLK Jr. would look at something like this and just be like, would still have an issue with something going this far. The absolute radical of the '60s, radical quasi Marxist, uh, would probably have issues with
Yeah.
what's going on right now with Carmelo
Because it's
Anthony.
like, they'd be like, wait, you're monetizing the death of a kid?
Yeah,
And you know racial tensions are all-time high and you're gonna monetize this? What the hell are you trying to accomplish here? I mean, I know it's like one of those games where it's like, you know, oh, I hate the stuff where it's like, what if the other side did it? But just imagine the roles were actually reversed here, and this was a white family that did this. This would be wall-to-wall coverage for freaking years. The white family is monetizing the death of a poor black kid. That's what would have happened. Just, this is insane. We are at a point now where someone's gonna get killed. If this continues, well, actually, someone has got killed because of this crap. And I'm getting concerned, like, it's just gonna escalate. Alright. So, we went through all the stuff I wanted to talk about. Everyone knows what today is, right? I assume.
mm-hmm.
Everyone know today's a specific Thursday of Holy Week? Chat, what's today called? This quick quiz. What's today called? American Nerd for 3. Can we move on to something else like Iran? And there's really nothing to talk about Iran. Oh, other than Trump said he doesn't want to strike it, but
I will say that explicitly. There was a meeting, and guess who explicitly was against escalating tensions? Our Vice President and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. These people that the Democrats are trying to oust are the very people trying to maintain peace globally. I think that's a really important thing to bring up. I think that's a beautiful thing that we have. We have people actually concerned with preserving peace and keeping the interest of the MAGA voters in line in office. I think that's the story. That's the story of Iran.
Yeah.
The story of Iran is that Israel, the intelligence community, and again, they gave a report to Tulsi Gabbard to give to President Trump, and the point of the report was to provoke him into allowing strikes on Iran, and he didn't take the bait. He didn't take the bait with the support of his cabinet.
good.
So give thanks to God for that. Give thanks to God for every day of peace we have on this planet. So,
Alright. Yeah, FBI Director Kash Patel is saying their team's on the ground. I saw that. At the FSC shooting.
Right. So yeah, their team's on the ground. They're providing full support. But yeah, no. I hope you guys enjoy your Holy Thursday. Maybe you go.
Yeah, today. That's
depending
what
on what
is.
church you go. Depending on what church you go to, maybe you'll be washing some feet. You know.
Usually I call it's Monday Thursday, but point is, it's like you can call it whatever, you know. But yeah, today is the last day, the day before Christ got crucified. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Everyone knows that. I hope, right? Surely people know what Good Friday is, right? Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. Who on earth calls it Maundy Thursday? Well, that's the official name, but
that's the official name in England and the Philippines.
Yeah. Yeah, people call Holy Thursday, you know, you can call it whatever, but yep, today was Last Supper, for those that don't know. That's just that, I'm hoping that's just what people expect it as, because, yeah, it's point. Of course you're a Protestant. What? I'm not a Protestant. Who says I'm a Protestant? I'm a Catholic. All right.
I mean, there are a couple Protestants that celebrate this. There's High Church Lutherans and Anglicans.
Yeah.
They celebrate this.
I guess. But yeah, so tomorrow's Good Friday, which again I will not be streaming or uploading the videos. Nothing until Monday. We'll have some shorts and stuff, but because it is the crucifixion and the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, so that's the point of Easter. Again, I assume most people know that, surely, right? Most people know what the meaning of Easter is, but oh gosh, Gangster Thursday. Methodist Church calls it Maundy Thursday. Yeah, people call it that. I just I just call it that, but
Yeah, the if you don't know the history of it, the Methodist churches they're the border churches of the Anglican Church, and they just like kind of slowly separated from the Anglican Church
yeah.
itself. So that's why you have that. It's because your church is fundamentally English. Um, yeah. By the way, people are like arguing. This is like people have really dumb arguments around this time of year, and one of them was like, "Well, it's not really 3 days." You
Oh
know,
my
he's
gosh.
like Jesus Christ isn't like underground for 3 days. Listen, the start of the crucifixion is on Friday. He's in the ground Saturday. He resurrects Sunday. Those are 3 days total. It's not counting it. And if you're saying this is a question of Christ's power, then I would redirect you to actually my name day that we just had, Lazarus Saturday,
Yeah.
because Lazarus was resurrected from the dead after 4 days, which was traditionally thought to be like the time period after which nobody would ever recover. They would actually bury people, or like they would put people in tombs that they weren't sure were like going like dead. And so like if the guy like if there were noises coming from the tomb after a day or two, they'd let him out. But it was always assumed after 3 days that like they were dead for good.
Yeah.
So that was something else, and so he resurrected Lazarus after 4 days to prove he could physically resurrect a dead person. So yeah, prove that the week before. This week, don't don't listen to stupid arguments about Easter. Just enjoy the
Oh
holiday
my
and
gosh. I'm getting
maybe
sick of these people. I'm getting so sick of these people.
um. But yeah, what I would say is maybe read some literature, read some of the services if you go to a high church. Try to absorb the meaning of the next 3 days, because you won't have it with us, but
Yeah.
we will all be together worshiping in spirit and truth. So
All right.
pray you guys have a wonderful Easter.
And Ari for 5 on my Catholic Facebook page, I commemorate with meme scenes from Jesus of Nazareth, Depkam, Namin. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, so the one that does bug me about this time of the year, well, it's really like every like Christian holiday. You know what always bugs me every time? It's
Yeah.
like it seems like the interdenominational like arguments get worse by some miracle. Like, is this weird to see like people just start hating each other more during these time of the year?
Yeah, it gets really bad around the first week and the last week. I know it especially does with my circles, even though I don't really pay much attention to online Orthodox anymore. The reason I would say online Orthodox get grumpy is because they're fasting. They're not eating any meat, they're not eating any dairy, they're not eating, wine or anything good. They're just like really having a really plain diet, and that makes a lot of them grumpy for the first couple weeks. And then towards the end of the fast, they're grumpy. I honestly think it's a food thing.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you want to be spiritual, like, I also think, like, we have some assaults we have some demonic assaults, I'm going to say, especially during the start and end of Lent. I'm going to be honest with you there.
Well, yeah, just some of these people are
Um,
just like, I don't get it. This is a time we're supposed to celebrate the resurrection, not the Catholics, they think purgatory's real and they're like you're going to hell and stuff. Every time
oh,
I hear,
yeah.
you saw that?
Yeah, I saw you talking to him, and you were explaining the actual nature of Catholic purgatory according to, again, all you have to do is read the Catholic
Yeah,
Catechism.
just
It
read the
explains
freaking.
what
It's like this.
explains what purgatory is.
It's like, again, guys. I don't want to get too much into it, but this pissed me off so much. Purgatory's not a place where you might go to hell. No, if you're in purgatory, you're gonna heaven. You're just getting purified. That's Catholic belief, right? That if you're in purgatory, you're just getting purified, and then you're in heaven. Not this crap of, you must pray for somebody and they might make it. I hate that so much. They oversimplify, like the indulgences of mortal sins, and then they say, well, you can't get to heaven. I hate that. That is not what we believe whatsoever. Just go read a freaking book. And the worst part is you explain these people, they say, no, that's not what you believe. You believe this. So since when can you dictate what I believe? We do not believe this crap of the purgatory is you maybe go to hell. No. It's
Right.
nuts.
And so the thing that I would say, if you're like wondering as a Protestant why there's so much confusion, you have to understand that it was a lot harder to standardize stuff back in the day. Part of the reason why every church across the Western churches started speaking Latin instead of their local vernacular was to try and keep everybody on the same page. It was really hard to keep everybody on the same page in regards to what we believed when, you know, in the medieval times going into the early modern period. And when you have Protestants at the early Reformation, some of them are responding to regional beliefs that aren't actually promulgated by the people in Rome. So I hope you understand that there are some misconceptions based on that. There's some misconceptions based on specific teachings from scholastics that were popular at the time. But regardless, if you just go to the Catholic Catechism, if you go to the sources from the Vatican website or whatever else, if you want to have a problem with Catholicism, then do it from there. Like, do it from the actual source material, you know? Don't get into this, like, there's just 1,000 misconceptions about it from like a kind of a layman Protestant perspective, and you're a lot better off just trying to understand what they actually say they believe.
Don't listen. Like, again, I'm nothing against preachers. I'm nothing against pastors. I don't have anything against Protestants, but don't listen to half these people online. They're full of shit. They purposely mislead what we believe. Just look up what we actually say our beliefs are, and where we cite in the Bible, where it's from. Not the Catholic Church. We worship Mary as God. Every time I hear them, I'm gonna blow a freaking gasket. But it's dumb. We don't believe any of that crap. It's just it's like the atheists who think the Greeks adore their gods as much as they adore our God, when there's far more from the truth. Gosh. Are you excited for the Passion of the Christ Resurrection? Oh yeah, that's coming out next year, I think. Yeah, I want to watch it. Scripture speaks about nothing impure entering heaven. But yeah, that's the argument. I forgot exactly what verse that is, but that's the Catholic argument. So, evangelical try to read books challenge. Yeah, wait, which Bible they're gonna read? The one they took out half the books in. But anyways. Enough of that. I just had to quickly go on that tangent because I saw this. Any last thoughts, Sean?
God be with all of you. Please try to go to an Easter service.
Yeah.
Even if you're not Christian, just hang out. Check it out. I hope that you guys really just enjoy this celebration with us. Understand it's the cornerstone of the world you live in. And I always try to tell people to appreciate it in that way. Don't just appreciate it for its truth, for everything. Appreciate it for what God is giving to us and everything, but also just appreciate it as the solid rock upon which you stand. All other ground is sinking sand, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, appreciate it for it being the foundation of your peaceful life. And understand that peace that God brings to you, and hopefully give him thanks and worship for that. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy the weekend, guys. Okay.
All right, we're getting final super chats again. Last calls are super chats. American Nerd for 5. Purgatory sounds like the afterlife's version of the TSA line at the airport that you have to go through before the heaven. Said as a Baptist, not really. I mean, you could kind of say that, but not really, because not everyone goes to purgatory. Not everyone. That's another misconception.
Just it's final sanctification. That's the easiest way to say it. Just like imagine,
like
so the Catholic epistles, like 1st through 3rd John, they're explicitly saying you can't go to heaven with dirt on you. Imagine, like, you know, you're cool with God, but you had some dirt on you when you died, your spiritual dirt on you. And that's just like kind of blasting the dirt. Yeah, you're just getting the dirt blasted off you before you go into heaven, okay? That's like the easiest way to conceptualize it.
Yeah, and purgatory is like, it's not you might go to hell. That's, guys, just if purgatory, you're going to heaven. You're getting purified. So, K-Cup for 5. I know everything about the Catholic Church. I'll tell you everything wrong with the Catholic Church because it's wrong, so we're not Catholic. Yeah, they never read what we believe. They always use like misconceptions and like straw man arguments. Just read what our actual beliefs are and make your own opinions about that. But anyways, all right. Would Link win in a landslide against AOC or Kamala Harris? I would hope so, but all right. So I think that's it. We shall see you guys in the next stream video, wherever you see us at. We'll be back. We'll have a video maybe out today. I will see, but we'll have some shorts out this weekend, but no videos. Hope everyone has a great Easter, and yeah, God bless everybody. Any last thoughts? Anyone got to say anything? Last super chats? Nothing? Okay. All right. We'll see you guys in the next stream, video, wherever you see me at. Godspeed to all of you, and happy Easter.